Hey, good afternoon. It is still Monday, November 11th. I am still that developer dad. And this morning we got the AI stuff moved over to use a smaller, less expensive language model, which is super cool. And as far as code changes went, I did need to update a configuration setting. And I also needed to update one piece of the code that was sending off the token consumption log. I had the model name hard coded in there, and I wanted to read that from the data that was coming back from my AI function manager. So I made that change, and we'll push that over to production later on. I'll do all of that boring stuff offline because you've seen me push stuff to production and all that stuff over and over again throughout these series. It's time for me to build out the homepage for the DM's Familiar, and something that I did at the very start of my time as that developer dad is I used Astro.js as my sort of static website creator thingamajiggy, whatchamacallit, and it worked really, really well. But I screwed up the first session where I set up the site and the local project and all of that stuff because I didn't know that I needed to have save videos set on Twitch. So this is going to be me setting up the first Astro project. And we're going to go back to the Astro docs and the getting started type thing. So let's see here. Manage your content, authoring content. There should be a tutorial here. Build a blog. Here we go. So we got to set up the development environment, create pages and blog posts, and build with the Astro components and stuff like that. We're going to query and work with local files, etc., etc. And I'm kind of second guessing my decision to use Astro for this because it scaffolds an awful lot of stuff. Yeah, and getting into the styling and all of the things that we got to deal with here could be a little much, especially in terms of bringing in image sizing and so on and so forth. But let's go down this road just this afternoon, and if we can get things going the way we want them to fairly easily, we're going to carry forward using Astro for the main website. If it turns into a big pain in the neck production, we're just going to kick it old school and write our HTML and CSS by hand. But yeah, let's see about this. So we have to set up our dev environment. We have to create pages and blog posts, push things up to GitHub, set up GitHub Actions to migrate over to the server, the Azure static website that I'm going to use, and all of that good stuff. So let's dive in. And here's about unit 1 and blah 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 blah. Let's not skip unit 1, the setup. So what we're going to do is we are going to, first thing is create a new project that's stored online in GitHub and connected to, we're not going to connect it to Netlify, we're going to connect it to Azure. So let's set up the development environment first of all. So we got to install the tools that we need to build the Astro website, and we're going to use a command line terminal. And we've got Node.js installed already on my Mac, and all of this stuff. So let's jump in. Very first thing I need to do is open up the Finder. And I'm going to go to Code. And let's make a new folder called the DM's Familiar _ static website. Okay? Cool. And I want to open a new... Nope, I don't want to rename it. I want to open a new terminal at this folder. Check. Got it. Good deal. So let's just shrink the Finder window down here. So we've got our DM's Familiar static website. And it says to type node-v. And we're rocking 20.14.0. That's good. So, and this tutorial wants me to use version 18.17.1 or higher. Groovy. And we're going to use VS Code. That's already set up. And I can access the command line. I have Node. I have a code editor. Groovy. Let's create it. So we have to launch the Astro Setup Wizard. And for that, let's see if I can scooch this down and still see my terminal window right here. It says npm create astro at latest. That's the thing that we want to encant here. So we'll go npm create astro at latest. Engage. And need to install the following packages. Create astro at v4.10.0. Yes. Make it so. npx create astro, launch sequence initiated. Where should we create your new project? And type in the name or folder to create a new directory for your project. How about just like right where it's at? Dot. Because we're inside the DM's Familiar static website. Include sample files, recommended. Use blog template or empty. Let's go ahead and include the sample files just for laughs to see what we get. Do you plan to write TypeScript? No. We're going to use plain.js. Install dependencies? Yes. Initialize a new Git repository? Yes. And it's installing the npm dependencies. And create a Git. Liftoff confirmed. Explore your project. npm rom dev to start the dev server. Control-C to stop. Frameworks like React or Tailwind using Astro add. Stock boogity boogity boo. Cool. Well, let's do the ls for list. Boop. All right. And the next thing I'm going to do, so we can explore the source code that got created within this thing, is I am going to say code in this local folder. Now that's a little snippet that I've added to my terminal environment that tells the terminal environment how to find Visual Studio Code and open it all up. Now, I've got my Explorer thing open over here. And let's take a look at what we've got. There's not a whole lot in the public yet, just the favorites icon.svg. And we've got our source with components and layouts and envd.ts. It looks like it's locking me into TypeScript, even though I said don't use TypeScript. But whatever, I'm not that worried. And let's take a look at README. Open with Code Sandbox, opening GitHub code spaces, yeah. And am I logged into GitHub Copilot? It looks like I am not. Status ready. And let's see. Markdown. Copilot status menu is ready. Here's chat, completions, all this good stuff. Great. We can get rid of there. And we can see the little Octocat sigil up here on my, you can't really see it that well. Let me see if I can shrink the code window down so that you can see all these goodies that I'm talking about. Here we go. So we can see that we've got the DM's familiar static website. Here's this. And I can open the chat, add files to the chat, all of that stuff. Groovy. So just the basics. Project structure, public favicon.svg, all this good stuff. Looks for .astro or MD files in the source pages. And we've got some sample pages here. And let's pop out to this terminal here. And let's go npm run dev. So it's loading, it's watching for file changes. And I am actually going to go one step further here. So I'm going to hit Control-C, npm run dev -- host. And theoretically, this should be visible on my network, but whatever. Let's see here. Hey! Hello, Scott. Hello, Boobay LK or IK. I've got old man eyes. Apple T. Localhost 4321. Earth below us, drifting, falling. And this says, welcome to Astro. To get started, do the things, documentation, integrations, themes, and community. Cool. All right. So we've got this set up. And that's what my local website looks like. Excuse me. So our layout title, layout, component, card. I wonder what card.astro. Oh, that must be those things. These must be the card component thingies. Oh, those are pretty. I like them. Okay. So let's just push this. What am I making? I'm making a static website for the product that I am getting ready to launch. That is it's going to be a Dungeon Master's assistant. Welcome to the DM's Familiar. The website isn't published yet, but it will be soon. So SVG class Astro A, that must be that. Okay, view box, fill, none, all that stuff. Main. Let's take a look at this stuff and see if we can derive sort of the anatomy and physiology of what's going on in here. Link card grid, okay. So we've got some components here and card. So here's a card component in Astro. It's got properties, title, body, href, and it really just defines a list item and some styles. Oh, that's nifty. Okay. So cool. What kind of brand am I running? I'm not sure I grok the question. What kind of brand? And then I've got all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Now, layouts. Here's the main layout Astro. This is where all this stuff goes. Link rel icons. Meta name generator. So, pardon. Excuse me. Oh. Excuse me. This website is going to be the main landing page and sort of marketing information about this software product I've been working on since early July. Let me load that up. Yeah, I've got some coffee here that I've been sipping on. Let me open a new Safari window here. Here we go. And if I go to gmtools.app, this should log me in a minute. Pardon me. Oh yeah, I'm not monkeying with clothing or physical goods or anything like that. This is all just stuff that's coming out of my head. All right, come on. And this is why I have to upgrade the hosting plan that I'm currently using for this thing in Azure, because it goes to sleep on me. And that's all of my short list of giant to-dos. Let's see. I'll bring this up when it comes. Oh, here it is. So here we go. So the DM's Familiar coming soon. I'm going to sign in real quick. And I'll sign in using my email address. Very nice. And we can go into the NPCs. We've got a list of all of these non-player characters that my players might run into on their adventures, with some descriptions and so on and so forth, what they do for a living, their background, and all that good stuff. And then I'm gonna be expanding this capability and adding new features as I go and stuff like that. But I have to get the main stuff running first. And under the free tier, this thing it doesn't always respond as snappily as I'd like. I can look at it later. I actually have some concrete things I want to get done during this session. All right, so this is just being ridiculously picky and annoying right now. Here we go, back to list. There, that's better. Now it's a bit more responsive. But these are all the characters that I've created. Oh, this? Yeah. Yeah, I think I spotted this online and bought this a year or two ago. It's sort of a sweater that works from Halloween through to Christmas. But yeah, this is the software product that I'll be selling. And it's going to be like a software as a service type thing, designed for people that like to play Dungeons and Dragons. So back to the task at hand. Let's see here. So this is the layout, and it just sort of gives the basic layout and CSS information and so on. So we've got our colors listed out here. Our accent gradient is that. Font family, all this good stuff. So let's go back to the index. Welcome to the DM's familiar. And I'll save this. And welcome to DM's familiar. Save. Pardon me. Dang, blast it all. How long have I been a software developer? A long, long time. I started my first job programming professionally autumn of 2001. So more than 23 years. And prior to that, I had been doing websites for various companies around Toronto and my band and stuff like that since the mid 90s. Yeah, I'm not as young as I used to be, let me tell you. So let's see here. This is just for the home page. Let's pull this over here. And let's get rid of that paragraph right there. Goodbye. And card, href, title, documentation. And get rid of these cards. They can go bye-bye. Get rid of those. Save. And I'm going to take this down to an H2. Save. And that kind of collapsed a little more than I wanted it to. So let's copy this style, paste it here, and change it to H2. And put this guy on his own line here. All right, you can see that. And let's bring code over. Park it here. Shrink this down like so. And I'm going to close this navigator here. So here we've got H1, which is what we had. H2 is what I've updated to. So save, and that's huge again. Now I don't want H2 to be 4 relative EM high. Let's try it at 3. That's a little better. I like that. Pardon me. And I think everything else can hang out. I'm slowly starting my own company. I'm currently in between employers and looking for work, but and I figured while I am in between employers and looking for a new job, I might as well learn some new stuff. And using Astro.js, which is based on Node and kind of extends a few things, was one of the things that I've picked up. I've also learned an awful lot about managing Azure services and deploying to Azure and everything like that along the way. So yeah, I've picked up quite a few new things to do here with the during my transition time. Now, this Astro A thing, what are you? Ah, okay, so that's for the SVG. And width, height, the view box, fill is none. ARIA hidden equals true. Here's the path. What do kids play when their mom is using the phone? Oh, good Lord. Yeah, it's, hey, mom, 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 mom. I know. I've got this linear gradient thingy. I'm not sure what any of that stuff's for. We're going to get rid of that at some point. Oh, good Lord. Board games. That's fantastic. All right. So we've got link card grid. Cool. And I'm going to change this to sign up, sign in, and let's just get rid of this. That can go bye-bye. Save. Cool. Pardon me. Now, I need a new Finder window. I got to go to code, and I believe it's, is it in element positioning tests? Open with, just give me text edit. Nope, it's not there. Social media helper, website backup. Maybe it's in, oh, I think it's in CSS animations. Let's look here. Open with text edit. Yeah, that looks about right. So this, I gotta also open in a second instance of VS Code. So I need to copy this stuff. Oh, yeah. I have a mod bot that automatically filters out URLs. If you want to send it to me as a direct message, that might work a little better. So we're going to add a section here. And then I'm going to paste that article in here and save. Okay. Now, the next thing I got to do, because that's my text content, I need to okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at the Instagram page in a little bit. So I'm going to have to create a styles.css. And that is going to need to live, whoops, not there, in public. I'm going to add a new file called styles.css. Cool. And I got to come over to layout and say link. It's got to be in a tag, Rob. Link relative style sheet, and it's going to be styles.css. Stop doing stupid things, Rob. Here we go. Save. Title is there. And where is my preview? Not here. Here we go. There's that. All right. So inside styles.css, I'm going to look at the other site where I've been doing my sort of playing around stuff. I'm going to add body. And I've got this stuff right there. My setup. Oh, my hardware setup. It's literally a MacBook Air and a second monitor and a supplemental USB camera. That's it. My desk is a total disaster. I would be a little bit too embarrassed to show it on stream. And let's see. I've got all of these styles already set up in a different different Visual Studio Code project that I'm just going to fly in. Okay, so there's all that. We're going to hit save and see if that affected anything. It looks like it did not, but that's okay. I'm going to right click, show page source. We've got the style sheet /styles.css. Good. There's all this nonsense here. I don't know. I am a dungeon master for D&D. I play music. I do all kinds of stuff. I write code for fun, believe it or not. Pardon me. All right, so let's see here. Index.astro, here's all this. SVG. And let's see. Can I can inspect that element. Good. So we've got a display block, main, P-class fly-in. Here's all this rubbish. And let's see about this section. Address, article, all this stuff. That's all user agent. Main. Here's all this stuff. Root, font. So it looks like my section is not being respected or brought in. Font, changes, node. Oh, here's all the node stuff. Section. Okay. I am also going to need to bring in from assets this, copy that, is it, oh, it's not going to let me paste. So, reveal this in Finder. Here we go. Paste item. Good. And let's see. Refresh. Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of stuff here. And we can see that that we've got that happening. So here's section. And let's take a look at styles, body section, width 80%, max width, margin 0 auto, max height, overflow hidden, yeah. Background image on the section is that. Okay, those are the only styles that are being declared there. We've got a bunch of styles down here. And I think I want to grab all of these things, cut from here, and paste in here. What's that? WebKit, background, clip, text, whatever. Save that. Come in here. We're still no better. So let's inspect that element. That's body section article. Body section. Height is 75%. Position is relative. I suspect I need to make that body into a flex box. Header, HTML. No, it looks like I'm not using Flexbox at all there. Body is padding 0, height, overflow X is hidden. Good. Main. Max width is calculate 100% minus 2 rem. Width is 800 pix. Display block. For unused, HTML. Okay. There's the SVG. There's my H2 section. Now I don't want to change that to position relative, or position absolute rather. Or maybe I do. Article is position relative. And then inside the article, fly in is position absolute relative to that stuff. Okay. Now, over in here, I've got some JavaScript that just runs the story panel. Okay. But we need to get this guy sized properly here. Let's see. Body, position relative. Main. What if I come over here and say, main, display, flex, here we go. Height is going to be 100 dvh. Width, dvh. Color white. Font family is whatever that is. I don't want Roboto necessarily. Yeah, sort of, kind of. Starting my own company. Mostly just what would become a side hustle once I find a full-time job again. Okay, and let's refresh. That's looking better. Cool. Right now, I am focused pretty heavily on doing everything by myself. Primarily because I don't have any money to spend to pay people to help me. So I kind of have to do all the things under my own steam. So sign up, sign in, learn how Astro works, and explore the official API docs. And now I got to bring in some JavaScript just for this page. I'm going to copy. And down underneath layout and style, I'm going to add script, save. And I'm going to hit the old refresh button. There we go. So that's flying in and out now the way I wanted it to. But that white text on the white background is carp. Yeah, I appreciate the offer, Boo, but my budget is 0 right now. Let's come into style, main body section, body section header, body section article, P, color, black. Save. And take a peek. Not at the Finder, you silly goose. Here. And let's refresh. That's more like it. I like that. I like that just fine. Now, the next thing I got to do is come over here to index.astro. And there's the title, href. I am just going to replace the href with an anchor tag right now. Get started with the DMs familiar. And save. Let's take a look at this. Here we go. And that just brings us right back here. Good. And I think we've got ourselves the skeleton of the home page. Yeah. Now I've got some updated text for these pieces in here that I'm going to fly in because my wife and I have kind of iterated on these things elsewhere. Now I got to fix up some of this superfluous scrolly nonsense. But yeah, and I'm going to want some navigation up here. So, yeah. And then, of course, I can add more content below the fold here. Let's see how this looks in a mobile style setup. And that's approximately what it would look like on a phone. I don't want to take the time to spin up a iPhone emulator or anything like that just now. Oh, what the heck. Let's enter responsive design mode. So this is approximately what it would look like on a phone experience. And let's load it on install additional required components. Oh, right. Yeah, let's not mess with that right now. But this is approximately what it'll look like on a phone. Approximately. 2x, what's 1x? Okay, and 3x? I don't know what that does. Oh, that's not so great. Yeah, the full text, I'm not running an actual simulator right now. It wants to install some extra stuff. And Xcode installs take who knows how long. Yeah, I'm going to do that offline. But I'll also get that sorted out after a little while as well. Okay, so I think we've made a pretty good start on this. I'm going to stand up a repo on GitHub. This one's going to be a private repository, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm going to get a GitHub repository stood up, set up a static website over on Azure for this stuff. And then tomorrow, during the morning session, what I'll do is I'll review the steps that I had to take to get this pushed up to GitHub and then built up there and running over in an Azure static website. I should have all of that stuff sorted out by tomorrow morning, so we can review. I'll talk through the whole process and carry on from there. So until then, take care of yourselves. Thanks for popping in, and yeah, happy coding.